Hey there guys, it's Will here. I thought I would do a little market summary and then talk about some stocks like Palantir and Unity and the Bitcoin Investment Trust and stuff like that. Just some things that are interesting. I use TC2000 software. If you want to get a free trial and a $25 off coupon, check out the link in the description below the video. And I've also got an investing course and a chat room for learning candlestick signals, which is really great. So I look at the NASDAQ, the Dow, S&P, the Russell 2000, and the TSX in Canada. And I've got the US Canadian exchange rate here as well. People tend to go into the dollar when things are dropping. So it's not a good scenario right now with the markets. I use kind of trend lines. So you can see here we had an uptrend, and when we break that downtrend, that uptrend, it could be the start of a downtrend. I also look at this 8 EMA, which is exponential moving average. So I'm looking for the candles to be above the 8 EMA. And down here we've got some indicators. This is like a MACD, which is a momentum. So when this crashes up here, it's like an up momentum for a period of time. Stochastics as well, and this is called money line. It just kind of shows a trend when it's a Bollinger Band. So when it's above the Bollinger Band, you generally have an uptrend. But basically, the majority of the thing is the issue is looking at the uptrend and any resistance points, like recent highs or lows and things like that for support and resistance. So we broke down through the 8 EMA and through the upper trend line, and then we've been declining below this 8 EMA. Now we were at the 50 moving average, which is a important point, an important line that I use. Investment managers use it, and today I've got pre-market. So TC2000 is showing the pre-market as of 7:25, and it's at that point we're below the 50-day moving average. I also have this dot, which is called Volatility Stop. It uses the average true range, and when it's green, it's usually a good sign. It's below the candles, which is like a potential stop loss location, but just accounts for volatility in the price. And when it's red and above, that's usually a declining scenario. So right now it's not looking good for the tech. Everything's selling off kind of because COVID increases cases, and also the elections coming up in the States. This is broken through the 50 more so than the NASDAQ. What you'd be looking for is support lines of previous lows like this one, or down at the 200. So I'll go back to the NASDAQ. So you've got a low here, which is a fair ways down, and then the 200. So or there's other spots up higher which could be support, but that's potential points where it might go down to. The Dow, you can see here we have a low spot that's close to the 200. From my experience, the Dow would go down more because it's got airlines and things like that, transportation. NASDAQ won't, is in a better scenario with the cloud software, and the SPY is kind of a mix of the two. The other thing that drops quite a bit is the Russell 2000. It hasn't gone down as much, but these are smaller companies. So people seem to be flocking to larger tech last time when there was a big crash. So we're right about at the 50 right now. We'll see what happens. But it's not a good scene right now with I've drawn here like a downtrend in the Dow. That's a really steep drop compared to this. Usually steeper drops or rises indicate emotional situations. So you have this rise like a greed scenario and then a pullback when things start to go like this, parabolic, vertical, you get a subsequent drop. So this looks like a fear-based kind of gapping down drop, so it's not good. And then like with the dollar, you can see it's going up here and crossing above the 50. So people tend to move into the dollar for safety. I even noticed that last time when the crash happened, that bonds sold off as well, even though like they're going up right now. If we pull back to March here, March, you can see everything sold off. So it's not necessarily a safe haven initially. So then one thing you can do is look at sectors. You can look at inverse funds, ETFs. So the inverse of the Dow is called DOG. And you can see we've broken up, and there's another resistance up here. RWM is the short of the Russell 2000. There's a 50-day moving average. So there's resistance lines as you go back up. You have to break through. But there is definitely an uptrend here. SH is S&P 500. So you can see they're all going up. So that's one option for you if you don't want to short stuff. There is a NASDAQ one as well called PSQ. So those are the inverses. I was looking at Palantir as a stock. You can see we had like a wedge here, and then we broke through. So this would have been, I put a little arrow here. TC2000 has these drawing tools, which are nice for trend lines and other things. You can see potential gains. If I drag the mouse, it'll show me on the over here on the other side, the 14.5% gain. Or, you know, if you want to look at what the risk reward ratios are. Yesterday was a really good day. So what happens is after a 10% gain, you might get a pullback either in the pre-market or for the rest of the day. So just keep an eye on it. But that's a good signal that we're in an uptrend. So there's probably some profit taking. But like I said, the whole market is going down. Unity. So what I look for is a break of a trend like this. You see this down trend, and then we broke through. And then you have resistance here, and you want to see if you get through that. So we're starting to break through. Unity is like VR software. I have an Oculus Quest, and Unity is used to create virtual reality games and also office, like people are doing stuff from home now. And I think that's a good one in terms of the potential, but obviously I look at the charts. Baba, there's that Ant group that went public or is going IPO, and you can't really get it in Canada or US. So Baba is one way to get access to some of those tech, that Ant IPO, and also China has been doing decently. So what I have here is an uptrend in BABA and a break of some horizontal area here. This candle yesterday showed a nice break. So we'll see if that continues with the issues with the overall market right now. But these ones were kind of breaking through. Ramp is another one, had a nice uptrend. You'd like to get in on that earlier, but that's still in an uptrend. Like I said, there's these red dots showing here with this drop, but yesterday it still was above the 8 EMA. One thing I do is I put the slope of the MACD into a column here. So if we edit this column, I just subtract the MACD. I take the MACD from today minus the previous day. And you could divide it by 1, like for one day, but basically it shows the momentum, the highest momentum, like the slope of this. So that indicates generally a strong uptrend. You can do it with the slope of the moving averages as well. So you can see, it gives you an idea that Zoom, it's crossing up again. The 10 cent, it had a break here, and you see it pop up yesterday, and that's reflected in this uptrend. Unity as well, like I said. So a lot of times, like if we go back here, we had a crossover and then a big down candle, and then you end up getting this cross of the MACD momentum. Now that kind of correlates to a big drop below the 8 EMA. You can also use candlesticks. You can look at a bullish engulfing, like a huge down candle, gap as well as a negative sign. So the slope here of the MACD, let's see if I can find another example. It doesn't always work, but when you have this declining scenario and then it starts to pull back is where you get the possibility of an entry point. But you can reverse here, like you see how it came crossed up. You might jump in here and then see it come back down. So it doesn't always work. A great spot to get in is when you've had a big downtrend and then a reversal. Oh yeah, one other stock I was going to talk about is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's had, I go to TradingView for a second. Bitcoin's had a good run here. There's a bit of a pullback today, but it's still above the 8 EMA. So if we go to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, we had a recent peak and it broke through that. And then you see the big gain, 9% yesterday. It's a bit extended, but when you see this downtrend here and you'd like to get in when it breaks that earlier here or after you break through the 50, and then you've got this point where you're going to see how it hits the candle stops and has a couple of resistances. That's because there's this high point here. So these are usually spots where it gets a bit stuck. You see here, if I draw a horizontal line in TC2000, if you hold down the shift key, it keeps it horizontal. So if you see here, once you peaked and came down, you put a line across, and then this thing has trouble breaking through, and then it eventually does. That could be your entry point over here if you don't want to get in down there. You still have a good run here, but you have to watch to see. You had support, and it kept going through. You also have this like a channel, lower and upper channel. So we're kind of heading up towards this upper channel, which makes it a bit less reward potential if it bounces off that. Plus the previous highs, if you scroll way back, you start to get up to, see here, there's a previous high. So it's a bit of a risky area right now. It's run up a lot and there's some resistances there, but it's looking pretty good in terms of its recent uptrend, and there's potential pullbacks and things, but it seems to be having another good run. PayPal and Square purchased it, bought a lot of it, so it can be used for these big massive transactions that they have to save money, like millions and billions of dollars being transferred without using the typical bank. So there is a use case for it for these big institutions, financial. So it's been moving quite a bit since PayPal and Square, especially PayPal, decided to get involved in it. All right, so that's good for now. Like I said, if you want to pick up TC2000, I've got the gold membership, which is the real-time data, US real-time stock data. And you can get a free trial and a $25 off coupon in the description below. Talk to you guys later.